Hey everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today it's time for our level 54 Machinist quest. Our minion roulette is giving us for the day the Onion Prince. And Biggs and Wedge are still standing over there, menacingly, working on whatever that is. The other day, patch 7.21 came out, which came with it, mostly just new endgame gather and crafter content that you can technically access from level 10 as any crafter or gather, but you do have to be Endwalker in order to access it, so we're not going to be seeing that for a long time. It's very fun so far. It has relic tools for crafters and gatherers, and I really like what they're doing with it so far. That said, I hope they very much vary up how this new content works in the future patches, because we know they're going to be expanding it with every major patch for the rest of Dawn Trail. So anyways, I've been having fun with that. I've been making progress. I'm a little over halfway to finishing off my minor relic. Also, really love the way that they're doing relics. The relic tools start from a Realm Reborn levels, and you level them up through every expansion until they're caught up to Dawn Trail. Really, really good for getting new players into crafting and gathering. Honestly, very well done. At least for new players. For veteran players, you gotta do a bit of work before the tools are useful, but whatever. Anyways, that's for far future stuff. I'm just giving you context for what I've been playing recently. In terms of job changes, before we get started with Machinist Quest for the day, Machinist did have two changes that are relevant to us at our current level. First off, Spread Shot got a little bit weaker. Spread Shot used to be 140 potency to all enemies in a come before us. Now it is 110 potency, so it got quite a bit weaker, honestly, which is unfortunate. Let me compare that to our GCD combo. 140, 210, and 270 for an average of 206-ish. So yeah, two or more enemies, it's still going to be a gain to use Spread Shot, it looks like. But it got a pretty significant nerf. Most of the rest of Machinist's changes have been very controversial, in the fact that it has revealed that the majority of Final Fantasy XIV players are incapable of reading. To be fair, the descriptions of the actions that were changed are oddly worded, oddly phrased. If you read it carefully, it makes sense, and you can see that basically everything in Machinist got a buff. But everyone keeps saying, oh, Machinist got nerfed in every way. It's like, no, it got buffed. Spread Shot's like the one place where it got nerfed. Let's see. Looking at my notes, the other ability at our level that we have access to that got changed is Ricochet. So let's head down to Ricochet, where the old description for this ability was deals damage to all nearby enemies with a potency of 130 for the first enemy and 50% less for all remaining enemies. This is what's known as a cleave ability. It's primarily a single target attack, does 130 potency on that first enemy, but any enemies caught in the crossfire do get incidental cleave damage. Originally, the cleave damage was 50% less potency than the main attack. Now it is 40% less potency, which means they got a 10% buff on the cleave damage. Everybody is reading this as they got a 10% nerf on the cleave damage. Please read more carefully. It says 40% less for all remaining enemies. It uses a 50% less. That is, what it is describing there is how much less damage it does, and it does, there's less of a nerf on the additional damage, so it is a buff. A lot more abilities got buffed in a similar manner, where the cleave damage got increased, so that you do additional damage on extra enemies. Everyone keeps reading it, and it's absolutely frustrating to see this misinformation get spread around despite so much effort to correct it in every communication channel I've seen. Oh my goodness. Please, yes, I agree, it is phrased a little bit weirdly, but it does make sense if you read it carefully. Okay. That's it for Machinist changes that are relevant to us at our level. Stephanivian, hello. Stephanivian would have you join the House Zemail operation. I hope your firearm is loaded and ready, Satora. We have received our deployment orders from House Zemail. Several groups of Dravanians are converging on Falcon's Nest, and we have been tasked with eliminating the fiends gathered upon the Black Iron Bridge. Knowing Tettle Grinch, and I unfortunately do, I would not put it past him to lure more foes onto the narrow structure simply to overtax us. I saw, when I was doing the Hatching Tide event on my main a couple weeks ago, I saw somebody role-playing as Tettle Grinch. There's a lot of people who love to roleplay as NPCs in this game, but Tettle Grinch caught me off guard. That is one character I never expected to see somebody actually role-playing as. Very funny. And we must need to overcome this assault without Joy's help, or Celesteau's for that matter. He has yet to return since he stormed out the door. I will assemble our remaining machinists and lead them to Falcon's Nest. Pray join us there as soon as you may. Machinist Guild is kind of falling apart, isn't it? This sucks. Alright then, let's hop on a chocobo, set out for Falcon's Nest, and get ready for the battle ahead. Definitely a very bad situation we find ourselves in. Still, we are more than capable. We'll be able to take care of it. And then once this situation has been dealt with, we can get back to trying to find some way to rebuild the guild. I do think that Stephanivian has given up on Joy too quickly. I also understand he doesn't want to pressure her. I completely understand. He thinks he's doing the right thing. I just think he has given up too quickly, and there's something very suspicious happening with Joy not wanting to come back. Alright, Stephanivian, hello. And I see we've got our tutor here as well. Satora, I fear Celesteau's departure has inspired his fellows to disregard my commands. You are the only machinist to answer my call to arms. Oh no. And in response to this insubordination, I have been forced to deploy what few knights we could spare, myself included. Oh no. They even begged me to come along. As I've said before, Flight and Bloody Dragons ain't in contract, so they'll be paying me handsomely for the trouble. Still, I appreciate you being here in the first place, Rosenthal. Is this House Halenar's entire company? You seem to be short a number of machinists. We are keeping our colleagues in reserve. For an operation such as this, we need field-only Satora, the finest machinist in our ranks. Appreciate the vote of confidence, and appreciate you not revealing our weaknesses, but oh god, help! Your confidence is truly inspiring. Thankfully, however, there are few enemies threatening the Black Iron Bridge. Even with your sparse numbers, I dare say you shan't be sorely pressed. Celesteau, have you come to fight with us? That all depends on you, my lord. We found Joy's father. He's being held prisoner in the broom. Held prisoner? You suspect this is some manner of coercion? Aye, we reckon they've been targeting Joy for a while. Her dad vanished right after he landed a job here in Falcon's Nest, and then Joy suddenly up and wed the brother of a carpenter working on the fortifications. House Zamail's behind this, where I'm a Chocobo's third cousin. So that's why all the machinists are missing. They found it more important to be tracking down what's going on with Joy. Respect, honestly. Tettle Grinch, you cad. It's not too late. If we break her dad out, then Joy can abandon her farce of a marriage and come back to the manufactory where she belongs. Belongs is a bit of a strong word, but if this is where she wants to be, then yes. But the bridge, the Ravanians. Stephanivian, leave it to me. Go. Joy is a machinist. As manufactory chief, 'tis your duty to attend to your employees. My knights and I shall march for House Halenar. You needn't worry. They'll have yours truly fighting right beside him. Go help the boss, Satora. Are you sure? If Satora goes, then I'll stay behind. We promised machinists to the Zamails, and we don't want to break our word now, do we? Just one should be enough. Thank you. Thank you all. We shall conclude this matter with the greatest of haste and return as swiftly as we may. I mean, I would have been more than happy to deal with the bridge while y'all dealt with Joy's father, but this works too. You'll find one of our manufacturing machinists in the broom. He'll show you where Joy's dad is being held. Alright, thank you for the information, Celestial. Very, very kind and helpful of you. Okay. Let's... While you're dealing with the bridge, back to Ishgard we go. Now then, where is our manufacturing machinist? And the broom? Well, where? On the lowest level or up further towards... Okay, there you are. I was wondering if they're up on the lower level of the Forgotten Night. Celestial said you'd come. The chief will draw too much attention, so we asked him to wait at the workshop until we're ready to act. Joy's dad is right behind that door over there. We just need to convince the bloke standing guard to open it. He don't exactly look the stoic type though, so a slugshot ought to have him piss in his trousers. That works. I will gladly shoot at this asshole. Maybe you shouldn't be holding hostages. Ow, what in the... You shot me. Yeah, just open that door and nobody has to get hurt. Please, I ain't done nothing wrong. Some fancy fop dropped a pouch in my lap and told me to guard the door. I swear that's all I know. Okay, you know what? Given the situation that the people in the room are facing, perfectly understandable. Let us in. You can keep the money. And how much did he pay you? Not enough to die over, my lord. Please don't shoot me again. Ah, 'twas not my intention to threaten you. We merely wish you to release the man behind yonder door. And should you fear the vengeance of your employer, you are welcome to take shelter at the manufactory. In fact, why not become a machinist? Then you needn't take another such unsavory job again. That works. Solve the problem at its core. You're offering me work, my lord. Ah, hell, let the bloke out for that. Hell, so I'll carry him across the city and back for a steady wage. Lord Siphonivian, me humble thanks. You've been locked away for quite some time, my poor man. Do you know who did this to you, or why? I've not the faintest idea, my lord. I was hired by House of Mail to work on their walls, and when I went to join the crew heading out for Falcon's Nest, some bastard, begging your pardon, my lord, slipped a sack over me head and carted me away. I'm just a broken old hunter. I ain't got money for ransom, and nor does me family. Got to thinking that maybe they nabbed the wrong bloke. Then you weren't aware that Joy was wed or that she resigned from her position at both the manor and the manufactory. She got married and quit? Why'd she do a foolish thing like that? I've never seen her happier than when she's slinging one of them flintlocks. Ah, so that's why they took me. They're blackmailing me little Joy. Ain't no way she'd just up and marry some bloke who wouldn't let her stay at the workshop. Then she was a machinist by her own choice. I am full glad to hear that. 'Tis time we liberated your daughter from her false union. Once she sees you are safe, I do not envy the man who pretends at the role of her husband. I knew you'd set things right, my lord. You take care of Joy, and I'll tell the rest of the machinists that they can come back to work. So it was an actual official strike, too. But Stephanivian wasn't even informed that they were striking. This is a bit of a mess, but hey, it's all working out. They had higher priorities. Alright then, lad, you come with me. I will speak with Joy and unravel this nonsense. You, however, must make haste to the Black Iron Bridge and lend your barrel to the battle. Sounds good. Alright then, I will meet you over at Black Iron Bridge and we will get to fighting. Alright, made it. Let's check up on everyone, see how they're doing. Rosenthal, you're not looking too... Oh no. Oh no, oh no. This ain't looking too good. About time you got back. You found Joy's dad then? We did. He was locked up in the room and we got him out. Good. Now it's up to the boss to bring her back. The fighting has been fierce. Master Rosenthal was injured when he gallantly intercepted a swipe meant to remove my head. Bah, that's a noble way of saying I tripped over its bloody tail and stumbled into the blow. In a row, you'll have to take me place on the front lines and do it soon, before these dainty knights get their arses handed to them. Will do. Alright, let's deal with these Dravanians. Are we glad to see you? Let's start from this end and work towards the other. Sounds good. Alright, let's start blasting away. Take them down one at a time. Or one pack at a time, rather. And then each of the knights will be able to team up with the next one in the group. Now we've got to hurry because their health is not looking the strongest right now. Worry not, knights, we got backup on the way. Okay, eyes front, take down that big bastard. Are you the last one? Oh, we made it just in time. We're about to lose at least a knight or two. Oh dear. Oh, only lost one man, and only at the very end. We should be able to get them back to a medic with plenty of time. You was missing a few mates, but you still took care of business. Not that I'd expect out less from one of me star students. A star indeed. Your arrival was a gift from the heavens. Load, aim, fire. How'd you like that, you great scaly bastard? I'm afraid I've caused a great deal of trouble for you all. Thank you for rescuing me, Dad. There was no trouble at all for such a fine employee. As you are now wed, I understand you may not wish to resume your duties at the manor, but have you considered my son's offer that you and your husband come to work at the manufactory? Me husband and me have agreed to part ways. If it please me, Lord, I'd like to start working again at the workshop and the manor both. Joy, my dear, you're most welcome, of course. Neither the manor nor the manufactory have been the same without you. Me lordship, me lord, I don't know how to. That is to say... I'm glad to be back. Ah, I see that even for the much diminished House Halenar, a handful of dragons poses no true threat. I shall have to find a more significant challenge for your next outing. 'Twould seem that you still do not understand that the knight is a master of the battlefield. That was far more than a handful of dragons, Tettlegrinch. Do you think us blind? We know who's working against the manufactory. We know whose underhanded villainy forced Joy into wedlock. Whatever are you implying? You speak as if I recall the names of your low-born servants or hold even the slightest interest in their common unions. Now if you'll excuse me, my lords. Honestly, Tettlegrinch is quite devious and dangerous. He correctly identified Joy as the heart of the manufactory, and figured out a way to kind of rip her away and cause the whole place to nearly fall apart. We have got to watch our backs. Damn that man and his arrogance. My prospectometer and I shall remain vigilant, though we may defeat Tettlegrinch's trickery at every turn. The accolades for this triumph, however, must go to you, Satora. The bridge is clear and Joy is returned to us. I was afraid I'd see the last of the manufactory. Thank you again for the warm welcome home. I've never felt as whole as I did after I joined the ranks of the machinists. When I had to tell his lordship I was quitting, it felt like I was leaving a part of me soul behind. That's when I realized, to me, being a machinist is more than just firing a weapon. It's a way to connect into another side of myself. Well, now that you're connected again, we can get back to working on your shooting and your swearing. And there is also the small matter of our delayed tourney celebration. If it please me, lordship, I'd like to do some training instead. I feel the need to shoot off 10 score bullets or so. Oh, of course, we all celebrate in our own way. Fire at will, my dear. I, for one, am eager for a stiff drink back at the manufactory. Very, very good to have you back. Alright, back to the manufactory. Also, very funny to me that, informal as it may be, the manufactory technically does have a union. It's just very... I'm caught up on that, and it's very funny to me. Once more, you have proven your worth to the machinist and to House Halonon. As for Lord Tettlegrinch, I had my suspicions, but it now seems abundantly clear that he has been behind every mishap and misfortune to befall the manufactory. Despite his knavery, however, our successes in the field will not have escaped the notice of the Holy See. And as our reputation grows, so too shall Tettlegrinch's ire. We had best be on our guard. Oh, did you hear? During a skirmish with the dragons, Rosenthal developed a new technique. He was adamant that I pass on the particulars to you. And we get Heated Split Shot and Split Shot Mastery. Split Shot Mastery upgrades Split Shot to Heated Split Shot, so this is just the replacement. And Heated Split Shot delivers an attack with a potency of 180, increases heat gauge by 5. We'll have to see the comparison to Split Shot in just a moment. Alright, let's take a look at that real quick. Heated Split Shot. Increase of 40 potency. And that's about it. Still really nice. Let's see, what does that put our average potency per GCD to now? 180, 210, 270. That's about 220 potency per hit on average, which is equal to Spread Shot. At 2 enemies, that is. Okay. So Spread Shot is still good at 2 or more enemies, but now it is only a gain at 3 or more. It breaks even at 2 enemies. Interesting. Good to know. Alright then, with that doesn't really change our rotation at all. It just means that at 2 enemies, it may be worth it to keep with your single target. But yeah, with that, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, our next Astrologian quest. I will see everyone next time for that.